Robert, can I ask you a question?
Oh, yeah.
What's astrology all about? And what do I need to know about getting an astrology reading?
Oh, I was just looking at my astrology book, Astrological Aspects of the Art, and this idea of the interlaced triangle, Solomon's seal, as above, so below. The idea of the spirit and matter meeting so that the all-seeing eye, the heart, can awaken with the mind. That's what it really is about. So astrology means astral logos, the logos or the word of the astral. Like psychology is the word or the mind, the logos, the mind of the psyche or the soul. Astrology is the mind of the astral. And most people approach astrology not in an astral level, but an asinine level, you might say. The donkey, the ass, like in the golden ass of Apollonius, Neoplatonic work that I write about in my book, Astrological Aspects of the Art. The human being has taken on the animal nature. And the whole idea of initiation and spirituality is to purify oneself of desire and fear so that one can have a clear mind and a clear heart to participate with all life. So astrology, basically the way it works is people get astrology readings. And at the time of your birth, or at the time of the birth or the beginning of any business or anything that has a birth in time, a state, a country, the presidential election, like the moment that somebody says I'm running for president, but also their birth chart. At the moment of your birth, the time and place and space, you do an astrology chart. So all the planets, you see where they are at the moment of your birth. And it's like you're at the center, and then there's the ascending sign, which is the rising sign, that degree of the zodiac in the east and the west, and what's above and what's below. Where are all the planets in this hieroglyphic mandala, this kind of holy tanka? Where are all the planets? And do the planets oppose each other? Do they conjoin each other and fight? Or do they conjoin each other to love and make peace and give increased qualities and understandings and opportunities? Astrology is the science art. It's a science art of the human individual in the sense of being and becoming, kind of enwizened through time. So you can look at all the planets at the birth chart, and you can get an idea of who a person is and what virtues and non-virtues they struggle with, what likes and dislikes. The astral plane is the likes and dislikes. When it's non-virtuous, it's like demonology almost, It's like negative virtues. There's no devil outside of ignorance and delusion, in my view. But also the planets are the virtues. The 7 sacred planets are the 7 Mahayana Prajna Paramitas, the 7 virtues, like in How to Know the Higher Worlds by Rudolf Steiner. He talks about the 7 virtues, which I associate with planets, and also with Madame Blavatsky's Voice of the Silence, and her 6 and 7 virtues, including Prajna Paramita, the emptiness practice, the stillness listening with your heart practice. So the planets represent the attractions and repulsions of the astral body, but they also represent the virtues that ennoble and heal woundology, the wound. Whenever we act out of separateness, we cause suffering, according to the ancient India Hindu idea, and that all suffering comes from acting out of separateness. And so all enlightenment comes from acting out of uniting. You can love and unite and be pain-free, but if it's not awakened with a spiritual mind, then the love is short. The enlightenment is short. The unity is short. It doesn't see what's going to happen later in your cycle, or later in life, or even next lifetime. So, okay, here's astrology. You've got your natal chart, and then you've got, most of us are like adults now, right? We have your natal chart, and you have the planetary configurations and squares and trines, and then you have the planets. Where are they now? compared to that. And they tell you what's going on now, and you can look in the future and see where the planets are going, and you can predict tendencies and probabilities and possibilities. Astrology is the art and science of possibilities, tendencies, probabilities. And you can see the probabilities and tendencies of the natal chart, and you can see of who one person is all their life, and you can see what's going to happen in the future. Nobody can predict your future. Your future comes within. Like my whole idea of like thinking, feeling, and willing, when you think with your head, it's already past. The second you think it, it's past. And anything you do in the metabolic, sex, digestion, physical activity creates a future. Like you eat some food and it tastes good, but later it gave you upset stomach. So in the future, you find out if it was good for you or not. If you have, let's say you make love or have sex, in the future you find out if it was good or not, if it supported you. So I think that astrology can work like that. You can look at the planets as a sense of past, present, future, and you can reinterpret the past. So you can correct mistakes. You can reinterpret the past. This is what real forgiveness means, is for means future, and give. You give yourself to the foreground. You give yourself to the surrounding environment. You give yourself to the future. There's no forgiveness. You can't forgive a person of their karma. If you get to the stillness and the emptiness and the spirit of things, it's such a big picture that we can let go of the details a little bit. We can help digest the experience so that it gets the difficult experience becomes compost or fertilizer for the future self. You get it? And so then we can see the tendencies of the future. You can't predict the future, but you can see the tendencies and we can live up to it. We can like awaken a higher consciousness so that when we do suffer, we can see the wisdom of what our learning lesson is. Because all pain and suffering is but the labor pain of a higher birth, and karma is fixing things. Karma is fixing things so that we can be enlightened. There's no such thing as bad karma in the long run, only in the short run. And so the future is really we see the idea of the higher self, or the spiritual Christ, or Buddha, or the Allah of it. We see the ideals of virtue and what could become of this world and how beautiful it could be as friends and family and possibilities, infinite and eternal. We see that and we work to manifest it and to incarnate it. So astrology can tell you kind of who you are, what your sympathy, antipathies, and your astral body of like and dislike is all about, what your attractions and repulsions are all about, the astral body. And it can be kind of a dharma, like in the sense of Uranus, Neptune, Pluto as being the three principles of the path of Tibetan Buddhism: the determination to be free, and the Bodhi mind of compassion, and insight into struggle and striving of each individual soul. And then you see Pluto as the redemption of the dark feminine. Like this whole Me Too thing that's happening right now, you can see that Pluto has been opposing the United States Sun in Cancer and squaring its Saturn. And it's long overdue, the redemption of the dark feminine, the redemption of Persephone, the descent and reascent of the soul that I talk so much about in the astrological aspects of the art. My astrology book is a cookbook. It was written kind of fast. I could have used a better editor. Where are you? But on the other hand, it's really great information that I accumulated over 40 years, and I put in this book. And it's like, when you go into the garden, you got to pick the good flowers and the good vegetables, and they're in there, So there's a garden of insight in that book. So astrology, I like predicting things to people. I like making predictions, about elections and sports and people's lives and what we could do to make it different. Like my prediction that Trump could lose the next election and that Oprah Winfrey could win it. There's other people that could win it, but she has really good aspects. If she doesn't win it, she's aligned with somebody who wins it. I mean, these are very positive aspects. Anybody can blow their aspects. The aspects are the possibilities you have. A lot of people feel like they have no possibilities, and they're drugged out, over-medicated, zapped by too many electronics and electromagnetism, artificial intelligence, alien intelligence. I'm saying that there's spiritual intelligence, and that the heart and the mind are two wings of the soul, and that astrology, at the very least, you're looking at something higher, and it's something that enwombs us. The astrology is the great mother, but at its heart, it's the virtues. It's like the 7 sacred planets are the virtues that can ennoble us with higher calling. And then Uranus, Neptune, Pluto become the great transformers of the Ida Pingala, of the Kundalini, and the Sushumna. Pluto is the Tantra of the ultimate realization of selflessness and at one-ment, not atonement, to become at one as Plotinus, Iamblichus, the Neoplatonists, and Plato. That's my new hot thing, is to reinterpret Plato so we can get enlightened. And Emerson, the great poet, who is the new Platonist, friend of Abe Lincoln in the White House. We need astrologers and poets in the White House and musicians. Hey, by the way, have you checked out my latest song on YouTube? Hey, this is Robert Thibodeau, your predictive astrologer from the Mayflower Bookshop. And I hope you get my book and make sense of it. Help me along in this interesting travel. We're all friends, whether we know it or not. Bless your heart.